comparing NEET PG or the for the IMGs in
Mm-hmm.
India, foreign medical graduate exams. So comparing that to AMC1, what is the difficulty level if we compare them?
And in AMC, it's completely practice based.
So how many
Again,
hours did you pace, like from starting, and how did you increase your hours slowly? So did you attempt any more practice questions outside of academically, or were the questions in
none,
academically enough?
none.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Snigdha Sharma, Academic Head of Academically Medical Courses, and today we are here to congratulate Dr. Anushta on clearing her AMC 1. So, first of all, Dr. Anushta, congratulations on clearing your exam.
Thank you so much.
How does it feel?
I am super ecstatic and like very happy with the results, obviously.
Obviously. So, how was the journey for you?
It was not a roller coaster, like it was pretty smooth, I'd say. But I kept procrastinating and shift moving the exam dates a lot until and unless I came across you guys. Like
Okay.
after that, I decided that now I need to give the exam. Like there's not much time left, and I should go for it.
Okay. So, when did you actually, as I know, you graduated in 2021.
Yes.
So after that, how did the 2021 to 2024, how
Mm-hmm.
did the whole process go through? Like when did you decide? How much preparation
Yeah.
time?
So during internship, I was looking for options outside of India, like where should I go on and pursue my career further.
Okay.
So during that time, I had no idea about Australia, like nothing at all, because there's nothing out there online. Nobody's like personally telling you like what you should do for coming to Australia. And so I told my dad that I want to go to Australia and explore the medical over there. And he was like, okay, then I look into it. And when he started researching about it, he came across Dr. Akram's YouTube channel the very first time. And he was like, you should look into this. He's very good. He tells you about everything, what you need to do, what you need to do next. And that's how I like got to know about Australia and the medical career over here.
Oh, that's great. We are happy that we were at the whole initiation process of the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
journey.
Yeah, true. Very true.
So, which batch, if you don't mind asking, which batch did you start with academically?
I started in batch 6, so I messaged you guys, I guess, this year in April end.
Okay.
And even then, I was like pushing it forward. Like I was not sure if I want to do it now or maybe later. But then your support staff was very good. They were like very motivating. They told me that you should go for it. Don't delay it much. And that's how I came across you guys. And in batch 6, I had an issue that I had booked my exam date for September.
Okay.
And yeah, and the online classes were gonna end in September.
Okay.
So, but you all were very helpful. You guys gave me the access to older batch recorded videos, and I went through that then.
Okay. So while you were preparing, let's say from April onwards, were you working or what? How did you manage your study?
No. I wasn't working. I was enrolled in this NPH course.
Okay.
I stayed at home. Like I studied for AMC and I did my NPH course on the side.
So how many hours did you pace, like from starting, and how did you increase your hours slowly?
Okay, so initially I used to watch your recorded videos and then do the question bank on the side. So and then after that I used to study from John Muthak, which was not really required because your course, your videos and your lecture PPTs have it all. Like they have the entire John Muthak in it. So I never had to go again through it. Like initially I did, and then eventually I figured out that it is the same. So I don't need to like go through it twice. So I used to give like initially 4 to 5 hours a day. April, May, June and July I gave like 4 to 5 hours. And then in the last month I started doing like 10 to 12 hours a day.
And that's needed.
I went through PPTs, I revised it. I did question banks again and again. And then the mocks, everything. So yeah.
Okay, so now my next important question: how many mocks? Like we have 3 full mocks on our website, which each can be attempted 3 times. Plus, we have an adaptive quiz as well. So how many times were you able to attempt it, and at what time interval did you plan that?
So I was very scared of the mocks because I was like, if I have prepared up until now and if I score less, then what? So I did the mocks just a week before the exams. I did 2 of them, and I did them twice, I guess, not more than that. But apart from that, there were subject-wise mocks which you had, which were excellent. Like I'd say, I realized it over time that it's like recalls divided into different sections of the topics. So it was amazing and it helped me a lot.
But if you have to suggest to someone when to plan your mocks before giving your final exam, so how many days before your final exam should be the last mock you attempt?
I would say a week before.
A week before.
Because then you will know where you're lacking, which concepts you need to polish more, and then you'll have a week to work on it.
Okay. Okay, not after that.
No. Then it will be too late, because then either you'll be panicking or you will be like happy that you're clearing the mock.
Yeah. So comparing NEET PG or the for the IMGs in India, foreign medical graduate exams. So comparing that to AMC1, what is the difficulty level if we compare them?
I would say they're pretty different exams. NEET PG is more based on the theoretical knowledge that you gain throughout the MBBS. It has direct questions from the textbooks that we read, and in AMC it's completely practice based. Like you need to know about the diagnosis, like entirely about the diagnosis, like what are the signs and symptoms, what are the treatment options. Without that, you cannot solve AMC questions.
Okay. So, for someone who's not enrolled in a course like you were, would you suggest to keep working while you're preparing?
I mean, it depends. It depends on person to person. Everybody has a different pace to work with.
Yeah, but like Australia they don't prefer any gap in your CV. So you have your MPH to justify the gap.
Yeah.
Right? So, not everyone, because you're already in Australia. So
if anybody who's in India is working, then it would be like great, because you will be able to correlate what you're studying with your practice. Like if you're working as a medical officer, then kudos. It will improve your CV. It will have you gain hands-on knowledge. Like what you're studying, you will be practically implying it. So that will be your revision only. So I mean, if it works for you, then go for it. If not, then just sit and study.
So, I'm just a bit curious. Being in Australia, were you able to get any observership before AMC1?
Oh, I was able to crack a few offers, but I did not go for it at that time because I was not sure, like, if I have time to study and if I how will I manage. I did not want to rush it, so I was like, I'll do AMC first and then I'll go on to. I still do have offers.
So how did you get to them, through personal contacts or through LinkedIn, or because onshore?
Oh no, through LinkedIn, Indeed, Seek, everything. Like I kept on applying. I did gain some personal contacts too. I mean, I went up to people, I talked to them, I talked to doctors, and I was like, if you have any openings, do suggest me. So you gotta keep looking for it. You gotta have people, you gotta get your references, because references are very important here. I've heard about that. It needs to be in your CV so that you have a better chance of getting a job. So yeah, I'm still working on it though.
Okay, so for someone who's offshore, how would you suggest to get some observerships?
Over here in Australia?
Yes, if they want, I know it will be all totally on their own expense, but if someone is very interested on getting an observership, because that adds the same thing, the references, it helps build your CV. That's most important there for IMGs. So how would one get a observership?
I mean, I've never heard that somebody from international got an observership, because to get an observership, you need to be onshore, I guess. And if not, there's work visa and everything. It's difficult. Okay. But I am not sure about that at all.
So you are on student visa, if I'm right?
Yes.
And are you allowed with a student visa of MPH to do an observership?
If it falls under the visa criteria of working only 24 hours a week, then you're allowed.
24 hours?
Yeah, a week.
Okay, so that's a clause there, right?
Yeah, that's the catch.
I mean, that's a new question, and that's a very important information that you just gave us. But let's get back to preparing for AMC1. So it was a long road, but once you decided, you did finish the whole process very quickly.
Yeah.
So just
it was all thanks to you guys.
Thank you.
It was your lecture content, your question bank mock. I did it all thoroughly. Like I usually don't stick to a crash course or like a course online. I usually avoid it. Like if I get the chance to like avoid it, I will do it. But then you guys like kept me on track.
So, did you attempt any more practice questions outside of academically, or were the questions in
None.
academically
No.
enough?
No,
Never
no, they were actually enough. And also Bharti kept sharing the recalls of every
Yes.
month to me. So I went through that as well, like during the last month of preparation. So that also helped a lot.
So that one thing that people have been talking about, that it's very important to go through recall, especially in the last month.
It is.
So how many hours of recalls and how many hours of your own revision would you suggest to divide? Initially, it's more hours of studying yourself and less questions. But in the last month, how do you divide the hours?
I gave it 50-50. Like I read a topic, suppose it was GIT or maybe cardio. So I read the topic, I went through the mocks, and then I went through the recalls entirely. Like at the end of I kept the recalls for the end of the day. For 1 to 2 hours at the end of the day, it's enough for recalls. And apart from that, you should focus on revision more, because maybe you will get the recalls, maybe you won't. You never know. Like they keep changing the question pool.
Okay. So thank you for that update. But what are your plans for AMC2 now?
I will start working on it now. Like in a week, I'm planning to start preparing for it. Like start studying and maybe join a course or something. Like I did ask you guys if you offer such courses. But
yes,
you
we
guys
are going to launch it by the end of November.
Yeah.
We are planning to launch it soon.
Maybe I'll be the first one to join it.
Oh, we'll be grateful if you do that. Like just having our own alumni continuing the process with us, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
And we have an alumni group for all the students who are clearing AMC1, and we'll be adding you soon to that, because somewhere it helps you build the connections and just help you grow in an unknown territory.
Yeah, true.
So yes, and your CV building, we have Dr. Swapnil who connects personally with the students. Once the CV is done, Bharti will get in touch with you and get your CV sorted so that we can get you soon in the path of your AMC2.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anushta, and congratulations once again. And we hope that we continue to be part of your journey for AMC2 till you find a residency.
Sure. I hope the same.
Yeah, good luck, and thank you so much.